NBA draft player scouting report. We're doing Cody Williams today. This is the 7th rated player on our big board. When we say our big board, it's me, Carter, Riley Davis, and Brian Ralph. And we each ranked all of our top 100 players. We averaged them out and took the top 75. You can see our full big board over on NBA2KLab.com, by the way, link in the description of this video. But we're rolling out 5 players in order per day of our big board, starting at the top, going down. Cody Williams is 7th on the big board. Very divisive here. I had him 4th overall on my big board. Riley had him 6th. So we're kind of in alignment on him. Carter Elliott had Cody Williams 1st overall in this draft. Brian Ralph had Cody Williams 22nd overall in this draft. So maybe we should have made those two do the video. It probably would have been more interesting. But Riley, give me a general overview of your thoughts on Cody Williams.
So I see him as like a toolsy wing with pretty good athleticism. I would say borderline great. I know some have characterized him as more below the rim, but he showed off like more bounce than I expected at Colorado. His story coming into college was his defense was further ahead, but I thought like at points his offense looked really good. He shot really well on albeit on a low volume. Decent passer. The biggest knock on him was he kind of disappeared in big games, particularly in the NCAA tournament, Pac-12 tournaments as well. But he battled injuries throughout this year, this one and only year at Colorado. And yeah, I'm a big believer in him just based on his physical tools and even the glimpses of offensive upside that we saw this past season.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think upside is the key word. I don't think there's a ton of players in this draft that possess serious, great NBA player upside, and Cody is undoubtedly one. Whether you believe in him or not, like you have to point to that and be like, there's something there where if this works out, he's higher than most people on this board, which is why I think you and I landed where we did on our big boards with him, and I don't hate Carter for putting him first. I think it's a little out there, but to me, if he hits, there is a world where we look back and this was the best player in this draft. It's just how likely is it to hit? So we can get into our categories here. We should mention this is the brother of Oklahoma City Thunder's Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams played at Santa Clara, ended up really quickly outperforming where he was drafted and became an NBA star for Oklahoma City. It's hard to talk Cody Williams without kind of picturing Jalen Williams, and I'm going to spoil this. He's a comp for me, like, because if you're drafting Cody Williams, I think you're hoping he plays just like his brother, and they do a lot of things really similarly. It's kind of like Bronny James, where it's like we can ignore the family stuff or we can just be honest about it and say this is who he is. Cody Williams is Jalen Williams' brother. Jalen Williams is awesome right now, and you're hoping if you draft Cody Williams that he can do a similar path. So one word to describe Cody Williams for you, Riley.
Mine was evolution. And, this goes something that we've talked about with being pro younger brother. That's just the odds are in his favor. The second time around for the Williams family, that the youngest surpasses the older because you have that experience. You've seen how it's done. Hopefully he can get there. I don't think he's as explosive as Jalen Williams. I think his brother's the better overall athlete, but his length gives him a ton of upside. And even, I don't know, some of his defensive shortcomings that we saw, like, again, his defense was always supposed to be ahead of his offense. I didn't think that always played out. Like there were certain times, like his film shows him, like you watch that game where Colorado played Florida in the NCAA tournament and Riley Kugel put him on skates a couple times, but he can make up for it because he has like a crazy wingspan and he's just tall. But as a whole, I still think high upside. I might argue higher upside than his brother. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, my word is upside. First I had sibling. And then I realized how lame that is. So now it's just upside. But part of his story is that he is his brother's brother. To me, he does have one of the top 3 upsides in this draft, though, to me. Like you would say Sarr has a crazy ceiling. I think going down further, you would say Stephon Castle has a pretty high ceiling. Maybe Donovan Clingan has a high ceiling. Cody Williams' ceiling is as high as pretty much everybody we just named, in my opinion. Best team fit for Cody Williams, what is it?
I'm going with the Charlotte Hornets, and there's the caveat that like low-key good players go to die in Charlotte, but I like that you could pair him next to Brandon Miller, so you already have the star, you have the go-to scorer, and it would allow Williams to further refine his game on both sides of the floor.
I like that. I could see that. There's definitely a room for a wing there that I think he pairs well with Brandon Miller in a really good way. Kind of honestly, like Miles Bridges for a variety of reasons didn't work out in Charlotte, but I think Cody Williams would be a better fit with what his game can do than what people hoped Bridges would become. I am taking the easy way out here. I'm going to Oklahoma City. I can't shake this thought. If somehow he's there when Oklahoma City's drafting, they have to take him. I am too much of a sucker for sibling duos in sports. And to be point blank about it, Oklahoma City's really good already, but there's a world where like Cody Williams is good enough that you just kind of forget about Josh Giddey, and it ends up like SGA, the Williams bros, Chet Holmgren, and whatever
And Lou
shooter you
Dort
want
and
off the
Case and
bench.
Wallace, that would be sick.
Dog, it'd be so good. It'd be so positionally versatile. It'd be so fun. They don't need their ball in their hands. I would love it so much. And it might happen. Like he might be available at 12. It could happen. Floor or ceiling? Is he more likely to hit his floor or his ceiling in the NBA?
I think he's more likely to hit his ceiling. I'm buying the upside, I'm buying the pedigree, and I'm buying the family tree. I think he's more likely to hit his ceiling.
I completely agree with you. I think he is more likely to hit his ceiling. I don't really see a world where he's not a productive NBA player. What does his best season look like statistically? His peak year in the NBA, what are the numbers?
I'm going to go pretty bold and say 23 points a game, 7 boards, 2 to 3 assists. We'll go 3 assists. Let's say 23, 7, and 2 with good defense.
Wow. Okay. First off, I love how high you are on Cody. This is getting me hype. Now I'm rethinking that my numbers should be changed, but I'm gonna go with what I put in the sheet. I think he will end up being like a 16-3 guy. I don't think he's going to end up being an all-star. I don't love the way he rebounds, which is, to me, at Colorado, he didn't rebound. And part of the fear for me with Colorado or with Cody is that Colorado was never good, and they had all this talent. Like, they really should have been good. KJ Simpson's awesome. He's going to be in the league. Cody Williams was good. And I know they were hurt in and out of the lineup, but, like, it just never felt like they came together as a team the way they should. But to me, part of the projection of 16-3 to me is I think he ends up on a team that doesn't ever ask him to be the first or second option. Just slide in, be a starter, be a role guy, be a good one, and be productive. 16-3. In 5 years, he is a blank. Here are the options. You could pick all NBA, all-star, starter, bench, G League, overseas, or podcaster.
Probably won't surprise you based on my peak year stats, but I'm saying all-star.
Wow. Okay. How many all-stars did you have for this exercise? I don't know how many players you've gone through the list for, but like it's a light draft class. Is he like one of 3 all-star guys for you? Or
Yeah, I would say one of 3. Could probably get there with 4. I would say Sarr, Buzelis, Castle, Williams would be the 4 I think have all-star potential. Maybe you could convince me on Rob if you really tried to, because I love Rob, but he feel like I would not go out on. I'm not staking my claim to Rob making an all-star team.
Okay. I went starter. I think his talent and upside should lead to him starting. Won't be surprised if not. More on that in a second. Most likely to. What is Cody Williams the most likely player in this draft to do?
Never mention his college again, and that's keeping a long story tradition of Colorado producing good NBA players and like never being a good program, really.
Yeah.
Like, how many times do you hear how often does Colorado like lean into producing Derek Wright or Chauncey Billups or even like to a lesser degree Spencer Dinwiddie? Like, no one ever talks about, oh yeah, Colorado guard you.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think
you're
Williams
right.
will continue that tradition.
Yeah, where's the buff pride? Come on, Deion Sanders, figure this out. Cody Williams is the most likely player in this draft to win 6th man of the year in the NBA. Again, I'm kind of toeing the line here. To me, if he ends up on a franchise that is really, really good with stars around him, he could help you win a championship with what he can do, but you don't want to have to feature him. You want him to be like your 4th or 5th or maybe even 6th guy. To me, if he can settle in on a championship level team and come off the bench and play 35 minutes, play starter minutes, that would be the best case scenario for him. And I would bet at least once in his career that ends up being the role for Cody Williams. All right, if you enjoyed this video, there's 74 more for our top 75 players on our big board. We're rolling out 5 per day leading up to the NBA draft. Thank you for watching. Click subscribe as you watch them all. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/NBA-mini-games.